Well, I started in the broadcasting business over 40 years ago as a radio announcer, and I became a television reporter, television anchor, television news director in the state of Missouri. Later, I worked in the state of Minnesota, producing radio and television programs that were broadcast on stations throughout Minnesota. Later, I went to Illinois, where I managed both a public radio and public television station at a university, as well as a large academic department. So I've never really left the professional world of broadcasting, even though I have one foot in academia. I have always kept one foot in the profession. I have been providing management and television news consulting for television and radio stations around the world for about 15 years. I work in many cases for government agencies, including U.S. Department of State, Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, United States Agency for International Development. But in addition to that, some other agencies that receive their funding from the U.S. government, including IREX, Internews, World Learning, and others. And more recently, I have been working directly with and for private radio and television stations, so they contract me directly. What we provide would be an overview of management theory, management approaches, how broadcast stations are structured to maximize efficiency and effectiveness. But I break it down into the 6 principles of management. So I would talk about personnel, how you hire, train, motivate, and evaluate personnel. I would talk about the public, that is, understanding your audience. I would focus on developing a programming strategy for attracting and keeping the largest possible audience. I would focus on promotion and marketing, so that once you get the audience watching your television programming, you can keep them and you can continue to build that and build your ratings. I would also look at price, how to make money in the television business. We have a lot of history and success with that in the United States, with more than 60 years of experience in television as a commercial entity. And finally, profit. How do you manage a radio or television station with a profit motive while at the same time serving your public? What I do there is to do a formal workshop for managers who come from a variety of stations all together. And one of the good things about that is that the participants are able to share ideas with each other and kick around the ideas that I bring to them. What I'm doing, though, is I'm talking about American model of broadcast management. In addition to that, what I have done is to bring managers to the United States. And I do a similar kind of workshop, but in addition to talking about the theories of broadcast management, we visit television stations and radio stations. So they're learning both from a theoretical perspective, but an applied perspective as well. So the visit to the United States would include some classroom instruction, but it would include a lot of station visits, not only in Tennessee, but would include a visit to Atlanta, to CNN, and to New York, where the major television networks are located. And the biggest success story would be a station called BTV in Sofia, Bulgaria, where that station last year ended the year with a profit of $80 million. In a country of only 8 million people, that is a huge profit margin. When I started with that station in 2000, I started with 12 reporters. And I've gone back 12 times, and I continue to work with their journalists, as well as the people in promotion and sales and virtually every aspect of the TV station. Now, I'm not 100% responsible for their success, but clearly the formula that has been used to manage that station has worked there. They had a very strong state television station in the beginning, but now that station is a distant third in the ratings, and BTV is number 1. So there's pretty clear evidence that the approaches that I would talk about in a management workshop work. I would probably do this every year if it becomes something that is of interest to Chinese television managers. I would probably do it in summer so that it doesn't conflict with the academic year at the University of Tennessee. And by that I mean we would have more access to facilities, more access to accommodations, and it would just be a lot easier to manage, and the weather's better, and so we would probably do it in the summer. But I'm flexible on that, and included in this 2-week program will be opportunities for participants to experience a bit of American culture, both in Tennessee and in New York. And so if Chinese television stations are interested in learning about a model designed to attract a large audience with effective programming, how to promote and market their programming to that audience, how to package and sell that audience to advertisers, and how to make a profit, that's what this workshop would do.